Welcome to Barrier Force. Today we're going to introduce you to Barrier Force, show you how it's been used and how easy it is to install. Whether you're setting up for flood protection, infrastructure protection, mudslide redirection, dune cores, or coastal erosion control, Barrier Force Cellular Barrier System is an excellent and expeditious tool to complete these jobs. Let me give you a little background. The Barrier Force system has been used extensively around the United States, wherever a secure barrier is needed. Our customers appreciate Barrier Force protective barriers because they are quick to deploy and easy to install almost anywhere, on any surface. They're also less labor-intensive than other barriers. Barrier Force protective barriers continue to be deployed throughout Canada and the U.S. They've also been introduced in Asia for flood control and infrastructure protection. Barrier Force protective barriers have been deployed in these cities. A variety of applications and locations are continually being discovered for Barrier Force. In the past years, Barrier Force has been found to be extremely successful in more than just flood control for roads and infrastructure. The latest application for Barrier Force has been dune core restoration. Many coastal communities have used Barrier Force to protect their homes and citizens and to reduce the storm surge and erosion of their beaches. The barriers are deployed down the beach at different widths and elevations and covered with sand. The dunes are then planted with the appropriate vegetation, which only lends to the strength of the dune. This application provides a more stable dune, preventing thousands of tons from being washed into the community from the storm surge coming across the beaches. Let's take a closer look at the Barrier Force system. Barrier Force protective barriers are 100-foot segments of pentagon-shaped cells that are placed end-to-end to form a continuous length of barrier. They can even be stacked on top of one another to meet height requirements. Each segment has 34 cells. The cells are each separated by a common wall and can be totally encapsulated by a lid after the fill has been compacted. Each individual cell is an integral part of Barrier Force's strength. Should one cell be compromised, the integrity of the Barrier Force system as a whole will still stand strong and may be easily repaired or replaced. The Barrier Force cells are connected side by side like an accordion, making the Barrier Force system easy to store and easy to open for installation. Each Barrier Force cell partition is suspended by a reusable lightweight frame. The cells are held in place by the frame, then filled with sand, crushed rock, or any other suggested fill material. They can even be filled with concrete if necessary for a more permanent structure. The recommended way to fill Barrier Force is to use a front-end loader or an excavator. Using a front-end loader or an excavator, a small team can erect a 4-foot-high, 100-foot-long barrier in less than an hour. That's quick, as much as 2,400 feet in one day per crew. Let's take a look at a typical installation so you can see how simple it really is. Now that the Barrier Force protective barriers and frames have been delivered to your requested location, it's time for the installation. Each cell is sloped on one side, vertical on one side, and open at the top for easy filling. As we mentioned, because Barrier Force cells are folded, stored, and delivered in an accordion style, they are easy to unfold. The frame is lightweight, making it easy to move around and place them into position. The frames slide easily into each other, and the bags slide just as easily into the frames. Notice the way the bags are positioned with the straight side of each segment facing the water or other area that presents danger or concern. The face positioning of the barrier is to be determined by each individual situation and application. If there are sharp turns or angles involved in placing the barriers, be sure to place the first cell of the turn securely in place before filling the rest of the cells so as not to compromise the barrier. It is important that the cells be supported by the frames and positioned properly before filling. Now, it's time to fill the Barrier Force system. Depending on your need, the cells are typically filled with sand, gravel, or other approved fill material. You can also use concrete. Essentially, that is all there is to it. Just leapfrog your frames down the cells to build your barrier system for as long a continuous length as you need. Barrier Force protective barriers are easily deployed, much less labor-intensive than any other barrier system, and a safe way to build a secure barrier system to protect life and property.